Shifter ASMR. Thank you for joining me tonight. Tonight I wanted to talk about unconditional love, and because that's something you hear thrown around a lot, that term. And you might think that's just some kind of a flight of fancy, that it doesn't really exist, but it does. It is possible. I know in this world that we live in, everything seems very, very extremely conditional. You might think that you have to be a certain way or look a certain way or have a certain amount of money to be worthy of love or to find love or to be appealing to other people, but it's not about that. The path to unconditional love is to unconditionally love yourself first. And what that means is recognizing that you're a beautiful soul and you make mistakes. That's what life is all about. You wouldn't learn anything if you didn't make mistakes. And then there would really be no point. Life would be very boring. So you have to be able to forgive yourself for making mistakes and realize that it's all part of a process to help you grow and develop. And by realizing you're a beautiful soul and everything about you is beautiful. It's not a matter of you having flaws. We all have flaws. It's a matter of being able to heal those flaws, to recognize them and put the effort in to improve yourself, to forgive yourself, and move forward. And so you might say, well, I've done all these horrible things and I hurt this person, I did all these bad things and my behavior was terrible. How could they ever love me? Well, it's easy, because if they do love you, then they recognize that it's only, it's not that you meant to do any of those things. It's just part of the process. It's part of your nature. It's part of working out those aspects of yourself that you have to come to terms with. It's not to say that there's anything bad. The things that drove you to do those things are not bad. They're just, let's call it misaligned energy. You're trying to find outlets for some energy, some impulses or desires that you have that you're not quite sure if they're right or wrong. Well, of course they're right, because they're part of you. It's just a matter of how you express them. And sometimes, you go through, you go through a lot of people or situations before you find the person who can deal with that stuff. And but that's when you gain unconditional love, because the person that they recognize that it's a part of a process, and that it'll only make you stronger and a better and more beautiful person. And so don't give up on yourself. Don't get down on yourself, and just stay positive if you can, and keep working on it. And everything comes in divine timing. You hear that term a lot too, divine timing. And that just means that things take time. Things take time. It takes time to integrate things and to forgive yourself. It takes a long time. It took me a long time, very long time, and I'm still working on it. It's a constant thing. You're never done. The work is ongoing. But the point I'm trying to make is, don't get down on yourself for making mistakes, because we all make mistakes. That's what we do. We're humans. And but by making these mistakes, by realizing what we've done and how we could have done things better and how we could have expressed ourselves better, then we learn from that. And the next time we don't do that. We might repeat certain mistakes, but we don't repeat them very often. It doesn't take us long. We learn much quicker each time. And soon you're able to express things at a higher level and raise your vibration, as they say. And then you'll find that things are a lot smoother, and you don't deal with the same situations because you've mastered them, and those things exit your life. You can put them behind you. They've been integrated, and you can move on and experience new things. of those things is a more complete way of loving. When people first start out, when you're first attracted to someone and you first, as a child, your very first time I'm talking about, you don't really know. You think everything is, you think they're going to feel the exact same way, and you just rush in, and then you hit a wall because they don't feel exactly the same way. and then you're like, oh, what do I do now? And but that's because, there would be no experience, there would be no development if you were just, if we all just integrated immediately. Forming a bond with someone involves work. That's how you strengthen the bond. And that bond, it can be unbreakable. It's that's what it's meant to be. That's what the idea of marriage symbolizes. The ring is supposed to be an unbreakable bond. Now, it's not so much anymore, but that's because the only thing that can break it is lack of love. And I think a lot of people rush into situations in the material world, in this world that we live in. They rush into situations because they feel that, they may genuinely feel that, but they haven't taken the time to really explore the depths of each other and, you know, get to know each other, as they say. And it is a process, and you come across things that you have to integrate, and a lot of times it's something that you thought you would never be able to handle in someone. That would be a deal breaker. But if you love the person enough, then you realize that the thing that's about them is really about you. And what I mean by that is, other people reflect when you hear the term projection, and a lot of times, most of the time, when you find something displeasing or about someone, it's really a reflection of something that you subconsciously find displeasing about yourself. And so it's a mirror. You hear the term mirroring and triggering, especially in if you're familiar with the twin flame dynamic. It's big time, big time, and it brings up a lot of stuff, and you have to learn to develop that in yourself and heal that within yourself before you can integrate it and smooth it out. And so that's part of the process. But what it does, the goal, and it's hard, believe me, it's extremely hard, but it's worth it, because the end is a powerful, powerful bond. You've weathered the storm, and the more of these things that you work out between you and your partner, or the stronger your bond becomes. And it's a beautiful thing, because really we are all one soul, so to speak, and the more we can integrate and bond with someone else, the more we learn about ourselves, and the more developed we become, the higher vibration, the higher form of love, which is what we are at the core. And so much of daily life gets in the way of that, and makes it hard to see. It clouds our judgment, and it clouds our vision. And we think, oh, well, there's conditions placed. But there's really not. It's like a training ground. It's like a workout room or something, it's going to bring up problems, issues, and you have to work through them. And by doing that, you get stronger. And your love grows stronger. Your capacity to love becomes greater. And so that's what unconditional love is all about. It's not that there aren't conditions. The conditions are things to work on. And as you work through them, you grow towards a greater love, a divine love. And you learn to accept things Now, there's always going to be things that are unacceptable, but that's generally uh, an issue that the person has to work on themselves. Like, um, if they have, you know, serious issues like mental or addictions and things like that. But those are not, that doesn't make a person bad because they have those things. It doesn't make them damaged, really. I mean, we call them damaged, but really it's not. You can never really be damaged. You can't be broken, really. Um, it's just a matter of your capacity to heal and deal with these things yourself. Now, some things are too much for people, and they lose their minds, as you know. But that's unfortunate. But it does happen. But that's not really what we're talking about. Those are more those are more physiological things that you need outside help to deal with. Um, and hopefully, if you feel that you have that, you'll be able to find the help you need. But what I'm talking about is things in relationships and things that you feel. You get down on yourself and you feel like, oh, this person could never love me. I've done too much. I've caused too much harm in this situation, and but you have to trust that it is kind of a weeding out process, because if the person can't deal with it, then they're not the person for you, because they don't love you enough to do it. you know, they don't love you enough to put in the effort. And if someone doesn't love you enough to put in the effort, then they're not the person for you. That's it might be difficult, because you might love the person tremendously. You might have the capacity to love unconditionally, but the person that you thought was your person doesn't, or they're not at that level yet. Um, and that's a hard situation, because you have to make the decision: do I want to try to work through this, or do I just want to let them go and move on? And that's a decision you have to make, and just your heart will tell you what to do. And but anyway, I just wanted to take a few minutes to talk about this, because I think you hear it so much of the spiritual community, as they call it. A lot of it is kind of frou-frou, and you're not really sure if people are being honest, or they're just using this as some kind of way to make money or whatever. They're not being authentic. But they did there is such a thing, um, and that is true. I mean, you can just reach into your heart, feel into your heart, and feel how much you can love, and think about, if I can love this much, then surely someone else can, and you're going to find that person who can reflect that back to you, and who will take the time and the energy and the effort to return your love just as much. And you just have to have faith, and keep plugging ahead, and it'll find you. It'll find you eventually. So anyhow, I just wanted to take a few minutes to talk about that, and I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great day or night, or whatever time it is for you, and I'll see you again real soon. All right. Good night.